Macy's is committed to recognizing that diverse cultures have widely influenced the world of fashion and increasing their representation.
They're celebrating the amazing individuals who are shaping the future of style through their Icons of Style initiative.
Check out collections from designers like Zarina Akers, Misa Hilton, and more.
Plus, you can also shop women-owned, Asian American and Pacific Islander-owned, Black-owned, and Latinx-owned businesses too.
To learn more, head to Macy's.com/honors.
Doesn't everyone deserve to look good while wearing an affordable pair of glasses?
Zenni provides stylishly affordable, high-quality, protective, and corrective eyewear for everyone.
Their mission is clear: give people glasses they can actually afford but still make them look like $1,000,000.
They offer thousands of styles, colors, and shapes to choose from, so you're sure to find a pair, or more, that you'll love.
Everything from readers, blue light blocking and prescription, to sunnies, or even plain lenses just for fun.
I have a pair of blue light blockers, and they really help me. You know, blue light keeps you awake if you like to read your phone or your electronics or whatever late at night or watch TV. They really help me with that.
Yeah, and their sunnies are super dope. You know, I feel like in LA, I'm just always driving around and the sun is just like right in my eyes. So thank God for Zenni. So shop for your next pair of glasses at zenni.com/crappins.
That's zenni.com/crappins.
Watch what crappens, watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Crappens, crappens, crappens. Watch what crappens, watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Watch what there's so much that happens.
Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to watch. I'm Ben Mandelker, and joining me, as always, is the wonderful and hilarious... I almost said Bershawn. Can you believe that? I almost said Bershawn. Can you imagine? It's Bershawn. No, it's Ronnie Karam. What's going on,
Stop
Ronnie?
being a clown. You're a clown.
I'm not a clown.
Hi.
Wow. Hi. Today we're going to be talking some Real Housewives of New York, but also a shameless plug, which is that we're on Watch What Happens live tonight. So everyone make sure you set your DVRs or watch it live and watch us. We're going to have so much fun. Can't wait to talk about all the things that they want us to talk about.
Yeah, hell yeah. Thanks for having us, everybody. Can't wait to do it, okay?
Yeah. So this is a big Roni episode. I mean, Roni, I'm sorry. Roni does not fail to deliver. You know, people are up and down every time. We said this last week. Didn't we say this last week that sometimes they're like stretching their content a little bit. So we had sort of a slow episode of them getting to Salem and nothing really happened. And people were like, what's going on with this season? And then this episode happened and it's like, whoa, this is some classic Roni content today.
Yeah, and I was just looking at that scene of them going down in the elevator completely wasted, falling on the floor. And I'm like, you know, it's still Real Housewives of New York. I admit it's not the best season ever. I don't need to cheerlead for things that aren't, you know, like I'm not getting paid, you know, but this is still some funny shit. Okay.
Yeah.
You can say what you want, but it's still, and they have been saying it. The ratings are down lower than ever. It's like the lowest rated season. They're saying Ramona's getting fired. That was
That's
a report out by Rodin Online, the great French magazine that came out yesterday. But it was from like a source who, you know, that source is like Barbara or Elise or like Ray.
Yeah.
She's going down, bitch. Yeah.
They're not getting rid of Ramona. There's no reason to get rid of Ramona. Okay, Ramona has not acted any differently than she ever has. That's ridiculous. They're going to keep Ramona. I do think that I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know. But it's like you said. Yeah, sure. It's not the best season ever, but sometimes we forget that just like base level, entry level Roni is still so good. you know, it's still just so hilarious.
And this episode was completely bonkers. So let's get into it. First, I really love that they every week now have Ramona doing the previously because she says it previously. She's like, previously, Real Housewives, New York, okay?
Yeah. Previously, okay, went to a tattoo parlor, tried to talk politics, and I said, let's play a game, okay?
Sorry, what? Okay? I'm sorry, I'm what? Okay? So that's the end of the previously. So that's where we're starting. So we're already starting in a total shit show.
Yeah. And so like basically they were all sort of like sitting in this one seating area in this tattoo parlor / restaurant, and then Ramona had walked away and Luann or whatever. And so Ebony's like, well, I think this is a disaster. I cannot go over here and just lighten up. I mean, that's the biggest macroaggression. Not even a micro, it's a macroaggression.
Yeah, so Ramona and Sonia are talking on the side, and Ramona's like, you know what? I know there's like issues out there, but if I think about them all the time, I'm just, you know what? You know what I'm trying to say? I'm just gonna have a breakdown. Yes, a breakdown. You know what? Because not to say that I don't feel, what am I trying to say? I don't feel the pain of other people. The pain of other people, guys.
It's not that she feels the pain of other people, and then based on that pain, she then proposes playing a game instead. Like, I know you're feeling lots of pain right now, so let's play a game instead. So then Leah's just telling Ebony, like, you got to keep speaking your mind no matter what, your truth or whatever it is. And Ebony's like, yeah, because I mean, I don't know how else to feel. I've got to say it, but Prashant is saying, well, you have to know who your audience is, and Ebony says, well, I'm classically trained in that. I worked at Fox News for 5 years. So like, I know a million Ramonas, which is horrifying to know a million Ramonas.
It's so funny that it's considered classical training.
Yeah.
To work at Fox News. I'm classically trained. It's like the French horn, but you're talking about how to play a Ramona.
Yeah.
And Prashant's like, well, do you really think you're going to change Ramona? She's like, no, but what Ramona doesn't get to do to me is she does not get to say, lighten up, and she does not get to say, don't talk about what I want to talk about when I want to talk about boy time. And she's like, look, I know I can't change Ramona. But this is just about me wanting to go forward from a place of authenticity and honesty. I'm like, okay, but you know what? Congratulations, because Ramona is being completely authentic right now. So,
yeah, unfortunately.
Like, you're being authentic, and guess who else is authentic? Fucking Ramona. She's a disaster.
Yeah, exactly. And Ebony's like, I'm not Toni Morrison in this bitch. I can't be teaching you guys all the things. So then Sonia is still talking to Ramona, and she goes, I personally, Ramona, am energized by her way of trying to help people and educate people at the moment because I connect with that, She goes, you know what? I want to hear about the matchmaker, okay? Talk about the matchmaker. Can you talk about the matchmaker?
I don't want to talk about the matchmaker. You're shutting me out, Ramona. You're shutting me out again, Ramona.
Can we talk about the matchmaker? Okay, so when you say I'm shutting you out, that's your way of saying you want to talk about the matchmaker. So why don't you talk about the matchmaker, okay?
So Luann walks up, like shaking her hair, like, oh, hello, girls. You know what, Luann? I want to talk about the matchmaker. She goes, well, look, so when Ebony and I were together, it wasn't about the movement. It was about us. She goes, okay, great. Well, so how'd it go? The matchmaker, was it great? Did you find someone? I mean, I don't really care. I can't walk anywhere where there's a conversation I give a damn about. Is there one? I came to the artisan soap section of the tattoo parlor restaurant. Can I go nowhere for peace?
Matchmaker, find Luann a match so that she can light the artisan soap on fire, okay?
So Sonia's like, well, but the whole argument over there is that you said that she was being preachy, and Luann's like, we don't need the argument over there. Have you not heard? Artisan soaps in a witch store.
These girls should listen. That's how you learn things. They don't listen. So then Luann just like walks away to go off to some other corner because she has, as you said, been just like wandering this place. And so Sonia's like, oh, don't worry. Luann doesn't really want to know about the matchmaker. She just wants to know if the matchmaker found someone for her. Because she's with Garth and he's just a tool he basically just delivers lamb curry for lamb curry. Is that what you said? Lamb?
So then back to Ebony and Leah talking. Ebony's like, listen, and now we can just go on and kiki. Yeah. I like her pronunciation of Kiki. We can Kiki. It's like the fanciest way. Go on and Kiki. She goes, I just needed to tell Ramona to her face, when you support this president who has made white supremacy a hallmark of his campaign, and listen, I didn't make that up. I didn't tell the Proud Boys to stand by and stand back. I was like, oh, okay, so you were trying to make this a Trumpy conversation. Because last week it was like, oh, no, what? It's not about that.
Yeah, and Leah's like, well, I'm sure that Ramona is like just for it because of the taxes. And everybody's like, well, my mother voted for him. Okay, I'm not mad at you because you're a Trump supporter. I just want to have the conversation. And then she just shuts me down. And then that's the challenge, okay? And then she tells us, Ramona calls me preachy, but the reason it's preachy is because you run away and you won't engage with me.
Well, that's what I was saying last week. Ramona has such a fit about everything that she makes it into this huge thing when she could have just said, are you calling me white supremacist? Like, I don't like that. Instead of like, oh my God, like freaking out every single time. So Luann returns and, not holding a soap to my disappointment. No. And Ebony's like, listen, Luann, I just wanted to say thank you because you listen. You listen to me, I was like, are you talking about the part where she got up and walked away because she couldn't take anymore?
The part where like Ebony mentioned white supremacy and Luann's like, I do not burn crosses. It's like, Luann, chill out. So she's like, well, I did feel heard, and, there has to be an open line of communication. I don't want you to think you can ever not talk to me just because I'm a wildly famous cabaret star. You can still say things to me. It's okay. For about 5 minutes at a time.
Listen, I will take a picture with you, and I want you always to understand that it's just going to cost you about $100. Ha ha!
Listen, you can always talk to me, assuming you're making an autograph request, and I love doing that for the fans. So the answer is yes. Here, let me just sign this doily. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Here you go. Great meeting you.
And she tells us, well, everything Ebony talks about is keeping the lines of communication open, but by calling us being aligned with white supremacists, it's like throwing up a roadblock. It's like a kick in the gut. It's like a white supremacist kick in the gut.
Luann is like the queen of just assuming everything is about her. Like, that's the most hilarious part about her egotism, is that every single thing, like later on this episode, she takes everything very personally. Like, you could say something like, oh, well, I heard there's a meteor shower. A meteor shower? Are you trying to say something about the way I smell? I shower every single day. How could you say that?
Am I not meaty enough when I take a shower? Are you saying there's a meteor shower coming? Whoa. And that's part of it, is that they're just kind of dumb and they're dingbats and they don't really understand what Ebony is saying. Like, she's talking too fancy,
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell Ramona and Sonia and Luann, I need to make sure you're not aligned with white supremacy. They don't know what you're talking about.
I know. I think with them, you have to define first and then make the statement. You can't make the statement and then clarify afterwards, because if you literally say, hey, I'm going to go pick up something at Staples, and it's like, how could you pick up, you're just going to pick up a bunch of Staples from the floor and that makes you special? No, I'm going to Staples. How do you go to Staples? It's a thing that comes out of a stapler. What are you talking about? Why are you trying to make me look like an idiot? It's like, no, the way you should start the sentence was, there's an office store called Staples that you can physically go to, and I'm going to go to it. Oh, yes.
I don't like to be educated, okay? You need to just say, I just needed to make sure you bitches weren't racist. That's it.
Yes.
Okay? you can't talk too flowery around these ladies. So Ebony's like, well, I accept you for who you are, and I don't expect you to know about me and my people, okay? I just want to be able to share it, and Leah's been open, but, I want to share it with Ramona and you, and like, Lou, we had our thing in Sag Harbor, and she's like, I'm ready to move on. We had our thing and we got
over
it.
Should we go to the dinner table? You see Ebony's just like, this is good enough.
Every time you mention that dinner, I just remember how good the food was, and we're not going to have lamb curry like that again today here. Could you please not ruin my day?
So they go off to the dinner table. Oh my gosh, these flowers are gorgeous. These are the lamb curry of flowers. How did you do that?
So they all have place settings. Like, they all have to sit in a certain place, which of course it's like Ebony and Ramona to get some more fighting going on. But thankfully they all seem to be over it. And the waiter comes over and Sonia goes, oh, hello.
Yeah, because he's like introducing what the first meal is. And then she orders drinks and she's like, I'll just have one of these because, I can have a few because I'm going just straight to the hotel. That's it. So then Ebony's like, ladies, there's something I want to say. And I didn't want to say anything earlier because we were still having such a great time. And apparently I'm Miss Downer face to you fuckers. So anyway, here's my truth. And then Leah just starts to bawl. And I already sensed what this was because they put it in the previously on Ebony talking about her grandmother. So I was like, oh, it's probably about her grandma. So then Leah's just like bawling and bawling and bawling, kind of making it about her. And Ramon's like, is this the right time to talk about this? Look at her. She's crying. Is this the right time? Should we do it now?
I mean, my God, this show, like, they're not going to make it any easier on the audience, right? Like, okay, so we just finished one, and now we're back to dead grandmothers. Enjoy yourself. Thank you for watching Real Housewives of New York City.
Yeah, dead grandmother's on vacation. So Ramona's like, she's like, is this now the right time? And Sonia's like, oh yeah, this is good. This is a good time. Maybe it's not good. Is it good? Is it not good? I don't know. I think it's a good time. I don't know if it's a good time. And Leah's just like convulsing, choking and sobbing, and like just a disaster.
So she cries, and all the women come around her and hug and squeal. And Sonia's like, oh, I'm so sorry. We were just thinking of ourselves. We're such selfish bitches. And Ramona's like, can I tell you something? You hold too much back, girl. Okay? You what, girlfriend? You know what I need from you, girlfriend? I need more from you. Okay? Stop holding things back.
You can be sad now, baby. Okay? Okay, this is good sad. Good sad, girlfriend. Okay? So
Ebony's like, I just want to get a tattoo. She's like, you know what? You're very emotional tonight. Maybe it's not the right time, okay? I don't like defacing my body. Sit.
Yeah, I would wait a week, okay? I would wait a week. And Bershon's like, well, she could do it, Ramona. And Ebony's like, I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait to honor my grandmother. I want to memorialize it at this very moment. There shall be memorializing and honoring happening shortly on my little part of my hand, okay? My body is a temple, by the way. It's a temple.
So they go to the two creepy Luke Wilsons to ask about tattoos. And they look over the options. So Sonia and Ramona are in one area, and Ebony and Leah are in the other area. So Ramona's like, I don't want to defame my body, okay? And Sonia's like, yeah, I don't want to defame my body either. Look at my body. Oh, I forgot about this part. I'll defame this part. This part's hideous.
It was like
Shame on you. Fame. You're famous, scar on my stomach. Now you're unfamous. I just defamed it.
I know.
Get out of here, non-famous scar. Go.
I was wondering, like about the use of defame instead of deface. I thought that was really amazing. I like that. I like the idea of knocking it off its pedestal. Her liposuction scar.
I'm deplaning this scar. Get off my body plane. Go.
Oh my goodness. So then Ramona's like, you know what? I don't like anything permanent in my body, okay? I don't like anything permanent on my... I'm like... Your face, your boobs, like, what are you talking about?
I know. Do you have, like, zippers to just, like, take out your implants whenever you feel like it?
They're just inflatable. You just have, like, a little air pump. And everyone goes, you know what? I color my hair, but that's not permanent. And so he goes, no, because you have roots. Look at your roots.
She goes, they're bad, but your tits are good. I mean, here's the thing. Our daughters would never do a tattoo.
Which was... Well, I was going to say, which is like, felt like a loaded statement. Like that was, yeah, you know what? One time, Avery went to get a tattoo and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe Avery's getting a tattoo. But it turns out she was just writing my name with my skincare on her hand. And then she rubbed it in and guess what? Her hand's more ageless than ever was before. She's got a tattoo of agelessness, okay?
She's got a tattoo of unwrinkled skin.
I don't like permanence. I like ageless. Okay.
So Bershon's like, well, you're not judging the tattoo, are you? And Sonia's like, yes. You know, you say, it's not judging like, I think I'm better than you. Hey, you high class, you're the high class. No. But, I mean, you're the one who said it, not me. I did not say that. Well, it came out of her mouth, not my mouth. Do not put that on me. Don't put me on that one. Do not.
Well, I just said what you just said.
No, I said no. You said yes. I said no.
She's like, I take it back. So Bershon's like, all night I haven't heard anything logical out of Sonia, okay? She said yes, and then she took it back. And so he goes, fuck you, Bershon.
Yeah, Brashawn's like, oh, hey, this is what I hear when I hear Sonia.
And Brashawn's like, well, fuck you too. I'm telling you what you said. She goes, if my daughter did a tattoo, I'd say, okay, I don't like her defaming her skin, okay? I'm older. I have wisdom.
Oh, God. Okay, so just because this needs to be commented on before the next fight, this is all Sonia. Sonia's fucking drunk and crazy. And yes, she did just say yes. And Brashawn's not even coming for her. She's just like, she's laughing. Like she's cracking up at it.
Yeah, and there was
Sonia's
judgment.
already...
And by the way, there was judgment. You don't say our daughters would never get tattoos, and that's just you're just saying just as like a random fact about your daughters. Like there was something implicit about that. About I think like the station of their daughters in New York society or society.
Yeah,
at large.
well, of course, we already know what Sonia feels about tattoos because of Leah's first season. Remember when Sonia was like, "Oh, tattoos! I would never. That's just low class. That is just low class." It's like she's hearing all that stuff right now and defending it because she got in trouble for it on Twitter before or whatever. So now she's like, would I say you're low class? No. I mean, yes, you would. You said it before.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be this huge of it. Who cares? A lot of people think tattoos are low class. Oh, no. But it's like this huge deal. And now she does not like Brashawn and thinks that she's going to fight with Brashawn already. And Brashawn's to me, Brashawn's just having fun.
Brashawn, I'm going to say it. I thought Brashawn was hilarious this episode. I think Brashawn was just stepped right in. Someone, maybe it was Ray or I don't know, one of our friends online said that without Dorinda, the show sort of needs a disruptor or, I'm sorry, Ray, if I'm misusing your words, but a reactor. And Brashawn's kind of like, in a weird way, stepped into that Dorinda mode of like, I'm just going to say some shit, And like, I honestly thought it was hilarious. This has nothing to do with like who is right, who is wrong, who is more polite. I just thought everything was hilarious.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
Canva Pro is the easy-to-use design platform that has everything you need to design like a pro.
Listen, I like to think that I'm this awesome designer. I'm not. But that's what's great about Canva. It does everything for me. And now that I have Canva Pro, my content is next level.
Whether you're a professional designer or you're just getting started, Canva Pro can help boost you and your team's productivity and creativity.
It's a quick, easy, and affordable way to design whatever you need.
No matter what you're creating and sharing, Canva Pro has everything you need in one place, including a collection of over 75 million premium photos, videos, audio, and graphics.
Plus, Canva Pro comes with the time-saving tools that simplify and speed up the creative process.
You get all this and more in just one Canva Pro subscription.
It is so fun using Canva Pro. You can use all these shapes and colors, and everything just looks so professional. When I make things, I'm like, wow, did I actually do that? And I did.
Design like a pro with Canva Pro.
Right now, you can get a free 45-day extended trial when you use our Canva Pro promo code.
Just go to canva.me/crappens to get your free 45-day extended trial.
That's canva.me/crappens.
Canva.me/crappens. You know, it's funny. Of all the things I've been missing over the past year, it's the little things that I miss the most.
Like making awkward eye contact across the room or meeting strangers in line.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get back to.
Vaccination is the most effective way to help prevent COVID-19 and get back to the good times.
Find out where to get your COVID-19 vaccine near you at vaccines.gov. Hinge is the dating app designed to be deleted for people who actually want to get off of dating apps.
As things open back up, many people are predicting a hot vax summer of casual dating as people make up for the lost time by going on as many dates as possible.
But Hinge's team of relationship scientists, Hinge Labs, found that most singles on Hinge aren't looking to do that.
In fact, 75% of Hinge users who responded to a survey said they're committed to finding something serious this summer.
These daters want to find their person, and they're committing to dating as their number one priority, above work, family, and friends.
That means there's a lot of people looking for love, and a lot of my friends are on Hinge, and they are getting some really good results. They're going on all sorts of dates these days.
Heck yeah, everybody's doing it. So to all of you who are looking for a meaningful relationship, go download Hinge, meet someone great, and delete dating apps for good.
So then they go off to do their tattoos. And Ramona's with Ebony. She's like, oh my God, are you really doing this? Are you sure you want to do this? Okay. Because I told you to wait 10 days, girls. Like, you're an emotional day because your grandmother Katie just died today. Remember when she died this morning? You were crying and she died, okay? It's emotional. Isn't this emotional that she died? It's like, Ramona, stop saying that.
And you just hear Luann and Leah from the next room going,
Ramona, shut up! Shut up, Ramona!
Shut up.
and Ebony's like, oh, guys, there's more than I thought, because Ebony's drunk too. And so she's like, Ramona, please talk to me, Ramona. And she's like, you know what? I want to get to know you, girl. Hey, girlfriend. I want you to tell me about you, baby. That's what I want to know about, okay? Give me your heart and give me your soul, okay?
And Ebony's like, Can you just look at the page? Like, in what world is Ramona supposed to give you relief from anything? And everyone's like, you know what? Can you numb it? Can you numb it? We need numbing. We're girls. We need numbing. Can you numb it? Okay. Do you want to talk about being ageless? You want to talk about my daughter / best friend Avery? We can talk about her. Okay. She would never get a tattoo like you. She's not trashy like you. Okay.
And Ebony says, I think I have a high tolerance for pain, but this hurts. And we're not really sure if she's talking about the tattoo or just Ramona being in her ear for this long in a row. You know?
I think we know the answer to that, to be honest.
So then we see her tattoo, and it's Katie in cursive, but there's no ink on it.
Well, it's white ink,
like pink ink.
So it's very pale.
Oh, it's white ink. Yeah, so it's very pale. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a very confusing tattoo.
It was invisible
Are
ink.
you getting it? Yeah, it's kind of like, here's my tattoo. I'm a badass under the black light.
Yeah. So now it's the morning, and Luann's in her room meditating, which sounds something like this. Money can't buy you home. Money can't buy you home.
It's like a dial tone in purgatory, you know? It's just like a soul making the sound. So Sonia and Ramona are in bed together. And Sonia's like, well, I mean, I guess waking up now, it looks like we just came from dinner and then we ate again. I guess we didn't eat much because of that conversation.
Oh, num num. Well, I heard that Tina Turner is very into chanting, so let me give my shot at it. Num viva la diva, num 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 num.
So then, basically, Sonia's trying to talk, but Ramona's still not letting her. So they all start getting ready to go for the day, and
Bershon, meanwhile, is in her room having like a positive affirmations, and she's like, Bershon. By the way, the difference between our Luann and Bershon is very difficult. But Bershon Shaw, you are a money magnet. Prosperity flows to you and through you. I am good enough to be rich and wealthy. Oh my God. I love that that's her personal affirmation. It's about her portfolios, basically.
Hell yes. I say always use your positive energy to get rich first. The rest can come after. Okay. You can feel good about how high your ass hangs after you're rich.
True. So then Ebony's in Glam talking about Friday the 13th, and Leah's in Glam also, and Ramona calls up Leah, and she's like, how you feeling, okay? How you feeling, little slut? And she's like, I'm fine, and just like Glam. She's like, so I was wondering, what time should we be dressed and ready for you guys, okay? Is it raining out? Do they have umbrellas for us? I'm glad we're not starting until noon, okay? Because maybe I'll exercise a little bit. I'm just slowly waking up. Isn't it funny that, like, when you eat a Danish, like, does it mean it's actually Danish? Does it actually come from Denmark? Because what if it didn't come from Denmark, okay? These are the things I think about. I'm glad we have extra time to think about, okay?
Is it raining? Do they have umbrellas? You know what? I'm glad we're not starting till noon. Because I'm doing a lot of Danish things, okay? Did I say it the right way? Am I saying Denmark or a pastry? I don't even know. Maybe I can exercise. And Leah's like, oh my God.
Say Danish anymore? It's like you can't say anything without being canceled.
Just don't educate me. Just don't educate me, okay? I said that wasn't Danish, okay? Just in case anyone could hear it. So Leah's just like, oh my God, I just got a splitting headache from her. I'm not even kidding you. My head. So she calls Sonia. And Sonia's like, oh, hi, yeah. She's like, oh, my God. I just got off the phone with Ramona, and I got a splitting headache. Ramona's like, I'm right here, you bitch. Okay?
You didn't answer me about the umbrellas. How many umbrellas do we have to bring? Okay. So then Ebony goes to Bershon's room, And Bershon's like, last night was a lot. And Bershon, and she's like, Ebony, it could be a little hard. I don't think we need the Malcolm X speech every minute. And Ebony's like, well, but maybe they need it. She goes, well, and Bershon tells us, I think that Ebony wants to be bold and in your face, and I don't think that's going to work. They don't want a pastor and a preacher. They just want a friend who can tell them that they're all clowns and boring.
And Ebony's like, yeah, look, I can see where they're coming from. If I'm a white woman in my elite little bubble, I can get that it would be annoying. I don't agree with that, but I get it. But now that it's been said, Bershon, now we can go kiki.
And, I'm not saying it's not going to come up again, but I can kiki today. And Bershon's like, and then tomorrow you're back to Langston Hughes or whatever.
And she cracks up. So far, so good with Bershon.
Yeah.
I think she's funny so far.
She's doing a great job so
far. It goes
far.
fucking off the rails. But, you would never know yet, right? At this point, I would never guess. I would just be like, oh, she's a good, fun-loving addition. I would never guess we're going to get what we're about to get.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would never guess. I thought that she was going to be just universally adored by this group, but like you said, there's no indication that things are about to go massively off the rails.
Right. So Sonia and Ramona are still together, and Sonia's like, "Well, you know what? Here's what I want to say about last night. I think that it's already been said that Ebony's personality can be teaching and preaching. You know what? I'm raising my hand, okay? You want raising my hand? Can I speak, teacher? Okay. Yeah, that's why I'm raising my hand. Because I'm going to speak because you're the teacher, and I'm raising my hand. Okay, speak. I can speak if I raise my hand, which I'm raising it right now. It's like, oh, my God, Ramona, Jesus.
This is not how you backpedal about your comments about about Ebony being a teacher. So Sonia's like, listen, I promise I'll tell you if Ebony's being a broken record. And so Ramona then tries to change the conversation. She goes, who did your eyebrows? Okay. Who did this? Because this one's different from that one. And Sonia goes, yeah, and I like that, because you have two matching ones like you're a doll. That's how drag queens do it. They put them on all perfect.
You look a little like Luann now.
I didn't know that it was I assumed everyone wanted their eyebrows to match. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I've never heard that eyebrow rule.
Yeah, I kind of felt like she just made that up on the fly.
Yeah, but I also know that Sonia knows more drag queens than me, so I'll let her have it.
True.
So then lobby gathering, everybody's gathering to go for the days, whatever. And Ramona just comes down swiping her phone like she doesn't know anybody's there. She's like, oh, hey, honey, okay. Hey, girlfriend. And Luann is wearing one of her statement necklaces, and it's this gigantic turquoise thing. She's like, well, we are going into an indigenous place, so
they're literally going to a theme park. It's like they're going I thought they might be going to a truly indigenous place that would have some sort of sacred qualities, but it was just white people dressed up in bonnets. It was listen, watch, I'm going to get an email from someone who works there who's like, actually, this is an indigenous place. But from what I could tell, I thought it was going to be a lot more of a meaningful place, but I guess I should have known. It was called Pioneer Village, which is also funny that Luann's like, well, this is a very indigenous place called Pioneer Village. Isn't the name Pioneer Village sort of inherently not indigenous? Pioneers, people who came and
I don't know,
arrived.
but maybe it is a very real place when it's not these ladies in it. I mean,
could be that. It felt like you don't know Sturbridge Village, but it's also Massachusetts where you go and you pretend you're in 1848 and walk around and you go to a smithy and you go on field trips if you're in the Northeast. That's what it felt like to me.
Wow.
Yeah,
I don't need
you would
that.
love it.
I don't need that.
You would love it. Actually, you would, because you know what? You're like, wow, I don't need that. But Ronnie, if you went to if you went to Sturbridge Village, I guarantee for the next 2 weeks, you would be on YouTube learning how to make your own crowbars and with a forge.
Crowbars.
With an anvil. Because you go to the blacksmith shop.
Oh yeah, I would love that.
It was so fun, actually.
Do you guys pour acrylics too? Could anybody teach me how to do that?
No, we literally went in 7th grade, and I made a poker for my fireplace, and it was the most fun I ever had. They basically do everything for you, but they're like, here, little boy, twist this blazing hot metal, and I'm like, I did it, I made a fire poker, and then I carried that fire poker around all day. I'm so excited.
So Pioneer Village, Ebony's like, is there a toilet here? I was like, uh-oh.
I think that was
That's how
Ramona
it
who
begins.
asked for that, which is more appropriate. So,
Actually, maybe. I thought it was Ebony. I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go. Even Ebony's like, is there a toilet here? Like the most intelligent one out of the entire group is already asking how she's going to pee in this place.
well, either way, there's the guy who's dressed up in, olden times looks, and he's like, welcome to Pioneer Village. It's 1630. Now, who wants to put on some bonnets and cloaks? And Luann, of course, goes, I didn't come all the way in life to look like that. It's like,
That's what we call Novani. All right? I'll be looking for the artisanal soaps.
who responds to a bonnet and a cloak at like a, like a rustic theme park experience by saying, I didn't come all the way in life to look like that? It's like the most over-the-top reaction to something. It's like, hey, ma'am, would you like a pinwheel? I didn't get to this place in my life to hold a pinwheel.
And Ramona's like, I'm not dressing up in other people's clothes. That's it, okay? I don't care how they did it in 1630. So Luann and Ramona walk off together, and Luann's like, I have no interest in that. And Leah's like, you guys aren't going to get mad at me if I dress like the oppressor now, are you?
I just want to be warm. Which is, in a vacuum, that that remark is very fun, like twisted and funny in its own weird way. You don't mind if I dress as an oppressor, I just want to be warm. Ebony's like, no, I'm not putting on the colonizer's uniform. I can't do it.
But I love that they said, dress like an oppressor now. Cut to Sonia. And Brashan going, so how do you feel in this outfit? And Sonia's like, oh, I feel fine. My family's very, very old, so I'm fine with it.
And yeah, Sonia's like full on in the bonnet and the cloak. She sort of just gets right into that costume there,
Yeah, she really does. She's like writing back the Morgan letters. She's like,
Yeah.
And now I can finally reply with truthfulness.
She's like chasing down a bird so she can pluck its feather to write something. So she
I would like to discuss the interest rates in 1632.
Oh, they keep putting this
Mother.
letter on me, this A. Don't they know the Morgan letter start with an M? Scarlet M. So Luann and Ramona walk by some lady in cosplay who's just like sweeping, and I guess they say like, oh, good morning. See, we're of the people. Good morning, lady in a bonnet. And she goes, I guess she says, good morning, good wives. Did you just say good morning, good wives? We are good wives. And I'm sure you're a good wife too. Oh, look at that. She's sweeping. Look, Ramona, look. It's a lady sweeping.
I love that she was like mocking the lady. Are you sweeping? Ha ha, Ramona.
It's like, all right, ladies. So if you follow me, this is a wigwam. And you can see it's a wigwam. And they're like just looking at this wigwam. And Leah's like, well, I'm so glad I wasn't born in 1692 because look at these, look what you'd have to live in, like a wigwam. And Prashant's like, well, Ebony, you know that we're happy too. We're happy too.
And then Ramona just walking around going, can you imagine if we had to live in a log cabin? Ew.
How lucky
Gross.
do we have it? Okay, we're so lucky. This was like Ramona's big introspection that like to be grateful that she doesn't live in a log cabin somewhere.
So they joined the girls, and the tour guide guy is like, now this building is just a recreation, okay? And because of COVID, we're going to go 2 at a time. So Leah and Ebony go into the wigwam, and Ebony, just what every wigwam shower wants to hear. This is dope.
Well,
she's like, dope wigwam.
Well, no, technically they were in a house because while they were in the house, Luann was like, "Oh, there's a wigwam." So she goes over to the wigwam and she's like, "Will you take a picture of me inside the wigwam, please?" And then Luann like does this whole pose like as if she was standing in front of her own poster in Miami. She's like, "Look, it's just me with a wigwam, everyone."
So then Brashan gets the pleasure of listening to Sonia's monologue that she gives everybody, right? So she's
Yeah.
just blah, blah, blahing about herself. So she's like, well, you see that thing that holds your head and your wrist that prisoners used to go into? Luann and Ramona are going to lock me in the head thing, and then they're going to bring in an exorcist, and then pea soup's going to go everywhere. Ha ha! Oh, my daughter's in uni, which, now I can let go of it. I can let go of it now. I've been ready for a while. I've really been ready for a while. And Leah and Ebony hear her, and Leah's like, oh my God, she's talking about the townhouse. Oh, it's a loop. It's a loop. It's a Sonia loop.
Yeah, they just keep cutting back to Sonia at random moments, and she's like, well, I don't have to have a drink, and I don't drink when I don't want to, so it's not really even a drinking thing,
It's not a drinking problem. It's a drinking solution. That's one of my favorite signs in those sign stores. It's not a drinking problem. It's a drinking solution.
I
Leah's
fucked
like,
John in a wigwam once, so this is really just like taking me back.
Even better sign. They need to have that in a sign store. I want to see that in a Buc-ee's.
I fucked John in a wigwam.
Yes. It's right next to the Gather sign.
Gather in a wigwam. So then
Gather, 1 o'clock. I fucked John in a wigwam.
So then Sonia's like, well, Ramona and I discovered that the water pill I was taking was dehydrating me when I was drinking. So I'd have one welcome drink and I'd just be buzzed. And so that's what we discovered. She's basically leading Bershawn previously on Sonia Morgan's life over the past 10 seasons.
Yes. And Leah and Ebony are watching all of it. And Leah's like, she keeps talking about how she doesn't have an alcohol problem. And then, the Morgan thing. Oh, and the townhouse thing. It's just sad.
Oh, she's on the water pills. She's on the water pills now. Oh, God.
Yeah. She goes, God, now she's blaming everything but the alcohol. It's everyone else's problem. It's everything else that's doing it. It's not the freaking booze.
Yeah. So now it's nighttime. And Sonia goes over to Ramona's room and just to check in on her because they're getting dressed to go to dinner. And she's like, hey, Ramona. Hey, I'm just going to go pee. And she walks into Ramona's bathroom. She's like, oh, my God. Oh, jeez. There's poop all over.
Oh, my God. At least Sonia's loop is a mental loop. Ramona just shits in a loop wherever she goes.
Loop.
What the hell? Oh.
How does this happen so frequently? How has this gotten so normalized for us? And then we see a close up of the poop. That's it's not just that there's poop on the floor. There's some of it's been stepped in. And Ramona's like, you know what? I don't know how there's poop on the floor. Okay. Sonia goes,
Ramona's like, it's just makeup. And Sonia goes, you know what? Ramona really needs to put a cork in it.
Just put a cork in it. Know your limitations. I do. That's why I wear a diaper when it's needed. Someone's like, you know what? I spilled makeup, silly. I spilled makeup, okay? And I just spilled makeup because now I'm going to close the door so no one can look at the makeup on the floor anymore. To confirm.
I spilled this dark brown gloppy makeup all over the floor.
I was really looking forward to wearing this very dark brown scented makeup.
Oh my God. When did my makeup eat corn? Guy? So Sonia's dying laughing. She can't stop laughing. And she's like, oh my God, it's on my boobs.
Yeah.
And she's falling all over the floor. And she goes, listen, Ebony and I did have high hopes. And then we see the clip of them chanting on the bus with each other. No shit in Salem. No shit in Salem.
She's like, we couldn't get through 2 days. She's a poop machine. Wow.
Oh my God. So dinner time. They're all walking to dinner. And talking about, they're excited for an Italian restaurant. And Luann's like, me too. And Ebony says, oh, you just love everything Italian. Wink, wink. So it seems like everything's great,
Yeah.
Everyone's on to a good time tonight.
Yeah, and they get in the restaurant, and Luann goes, oh, good, it's casual. You know that the owner of the restaurant was like, this is supposed to be a formal restaurant. Oh, good, it's casual. Ooh, even the seat's cold. Wow, they didn't even think to warm up the seat for a cabaret star coming through. Guess not.
Well, the waitress definitely knows who these ladies are because she's so excited to wait on them. But she also knows to seat them right into the exit sign.
Yes.
I don't even know if we're getting dinner out tonight, okay?
Yeah, so it turns out these women don't do well in small New England restaurants, okay? That's a lesson we should have learned when they went to Providence last season, okay? And here they are again in another tiny restaurant in a confined space, and everything's going to go wrong. But at first, Luann is having the time of her life, as you mentioned, because the owner comes out and he's speaking Italian. She's like, "Oh yes, oh arrivederci, linguine, of course, risotto."
Bowser Principessa, plumber.
Meatballa.
It's a me, a Mario.
When a man speaks to me in Italian, I just can't help myself. Am I right, everyone?
So Ramona's like, "Do you guys have a wine list, guy?" And Leah says, "Well, oh God, last time I drank wine, I threw up all over the place."
Oh, lovely story, Leah. That's a lovely
Great story,
one.
huh? Which, by the way, is sort of a variation of saying that she's boring, but whatever.
Yes, and Ebony jumps in, and she's like, "Well, I had a bad experience with Bloody Marys." And so they all start talking about what drinks make them sick. Or
what
kind of partying makes them feel sick, and they're over it now.
And Sonia's like, "Oh yeah, I have only like 2 drinks, then I'm done." So they're just talking about I am done so quickly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry,
I was vaping. We're talking about
vaping.
Addiction, so I was like, I think I need some nicotine for this conversation.
So Bershan goes, because they're all talking about, they're all talking about how little they drink now. Bershan goes, "Well, I got to tell you, this group is a little boring," and it's like shwing, and I didn't realize it at the time, but she just narrowed in on basically the 2 biggest triggers she could say to Luann and Sonia, right? Because Sonia's nightmare would be to be called boring, and Luann's is to, well, actually, sorry. And then and Luann goes, "We're boring," and she goes, "I feel like you guys are being grandmas." So the grandmas and the boring, those are the biggest triggers ever for those 2. And at that point, disaster unfolds.
Yes, I get really mad. And by the way, kind of agree with her. You guys are sitting around talking about "Oh my God, this drink's going to make me sick." So yeah, she's like, "I just got to say it. You're being grandmas." So Sonia's like, "Oh, what? Are you voted the fun one here?" "You know what? I told you how fun we are, okay? You know what? Usually we're a little more action than this. That's all."
And Leah's like, "You don't call women grandmas. Are you freaking kidding me? This is not the way to get to know ladies." Says Leah, who I feel spent all of last season saying she felt like she was hanging out with her aunts or something like that. It's the same idea.
Yes.
It was literally, I actually found it to be a generally benign thing, but I would not be surprised if Luann is hypersensitive about not being fun since she's sober, and Sonia is probably hypersensitive about being old. So it just was a trigger point.
Yeah. So Sonia's like, "You labeled me. How could you label me?" And Luann's like,
"Well, I like to have a good time."
And Bershan says, "I'm just telling the truth."
Luann's like, "Well, guess you know where the door is."
It's like, oh wow, Luann's gonna kick out another woman of color.
I know,
Here
that's
it
what I
goes
was
again.
thinking.
2 times in the season, here she goes.
Yeah, she's like, "Well, I just want to know what your idea of a good time is. It doesn't involve cabaret, because I think we all agree. The youth of America loves cabaret. I'm a great time. I'm a great non-grandmother." By the way, literally the most grandmothery genre of fun you could be would be cabaret. Right?
Yeah, it's also 1 letter away from making Leah barf, because Cabernet.
Rosemary Clooney was not on MTV, okay?
Yeah. Now, I love me some Cabaret, but it's usually when I go see it, it's me and a bunch of 80-year-olds. And I like it because I'm the only one strong enough to climb on top of the piano to sing.
"I am not an unfun grandmother, and now to prove that, I'm going to sing something from Lunar and Low."
Hey, anyone in Italian know Lil Abner? Hit it, boys.
Now, who wants to hear some Pirates of Penzance?
So she's like, "You know where the door is." And Bershan says, "Oh no, I don't need to go." "Well, maybe you do. There's the door."
So Ebony's like, "Are you having a good time?" And Luann goes, "No, she's not having a good time because we're boring. I'm a grandmother. Give me a break. A grandmother? Would a grandmother have these cheekbones? I don't think so. Would a grandmother be able to look at this man over here and say, 'It's a me, a Mario'? I don't think so."
And in case I haven't mentioned it, would a grandmother lamb curry for crying out loud?
Would a grandmother appreciate a good wigwam and take a selfie in front of it? I don't think so.
And she tells us the audacity to come in and basically call us old ladies. And Ramona's like, you know what? I think that we have more fun together, Prashan. I think that's what you're thinking. She goes, yeah, I mean, Ebony goes, well, it's a pandemic. And, my grandmother died. Then her grandmother also died. She goes, well, I'm not trying to be insensitive to dead grandmothers.
Oh, your grandmother died 2 days ago, Ebony? So what are you trying to say? I'm a dead woman walking? Is that what you're trying to say?
And Ebony's like, well, it seems like Ramona sold you a false bill of goods if she told you that we're fun.
And Prashan is like, she tells us, my intention is to change the mood. Is this a girls trip or not? And then she tells the girls, all I'm saying is that I'm going through some tough shit, and I thought I was going to get a little bit turned up or whatever. And so then Ebony, in an effort to show how much fun she is, she goes, let's talk about that, Prashan. Let's talk about the tough shit you're going through.
Yeah, and so then they all say, yeah, let's talk about you. So he's like, yeah, let's talk about you.
We are fun. Let's talk about your problems that you're going through right now. We're so fun.
So she's like, well, I mean, I'm suing a lot of people. I'm suing the state. And Sonia goes, wait, I don't sue anyone. They sue me. Okay, so Sonia's already completely off the rails.
Yeah. Bershawn's just lucky she didn't say anything about Wells Fargo this episode, because then it would have been a total shit show. So then Bershawn goes, shh. Which, as soon as Bershawn did that, I was like, oh, that's going to be a real problem right there, because that's actually rude to do that to someone. And Sonia's like,
well, not when they're literally screaming in your face. I mean, look, Bershawn, yes, I see that she offended them, but Jesus Christ, is it worth this kind of reaction? And Bershawn's just kind of laughing and staying light the whole time, but she's also not going to back down.
No, she's not. And I think that basically Bershawn is like, I made a stupid comment, but she's like, I'm not gonna back down. I'm not gonna apologize for it because it's a stupid thing, and they're taking it way too seriously. And she doesn't care. She just goes. And then Luann goes, well, so you're suing people. You're suing the state. That's what happens to me when I get bored. I file lawsuits. See what I did there? Because you said I was boring. No, right? You were bored by. See, it's comedy. It's in the show. It's in the show. My grandma show.
And Sonia's like, don't shush me, honey. And Luann's like, oh, well, I believe she's in lawsuits and fighting for her eggs. That doesn't mean she gets to scramble our eggs. Ha ha!
That was a very
now tell me cabaret is boring.
A young, fun joke. I took eggs, and then I made a joke about scrambling eggs. Young and fun, that's me, Countess Luann.
So Sonia's like, well, I'm confused because you said we're boring, and now you want to talk about your issues. It's like, you just made her talk about her issues.
She didn't want
literally
to.
Just made her.
Literally, the whole point is that she wanted to get drunk and avoid her issues. That's just. So then Ebony's like, well, I was asking. And Bershawn goes, you're always like, blah, 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 blah. But no one gets to know you.
Oh, really? Well, you insulted the both of us. You said we're boring, and now you want to talk about your boring eggs.
Luann is so fierce. She has that angry look, that super angry look on her face. She's so like she is ready to pounce. Okay, so Sonia's like, we had a heart to heart. That's getting to know someone. And so Bershawn goes, look, Sonia, and then she says, hold on, because she wants everyone to hear whatever she's about to say, because I'm assuming she's probably trying to clear the air at this moment. And so Sonia goes, no, I want to get to know you. Not everyone has to hear what you have to say. You don't have to broadcast the whole table. She's basically saying, if we're just talking, you don't have to include everyone because it's just between you and me,
She's such an asshole. Well, she's screaming and yelling. And she's like, you can talk to me then. And Bershawn's like, you don't need to get loud, baby, because I can get louder than you. She goes, well, I have to get loud because you don't listen. Sonia, who has not let anybody get a sentence out for the past 10 minutes.
Who literally said earlier in the episode, listening is how you get to know someone. So Bershawn's like, Sonia, I understand. You want all the attention. And Bershawn goes again, like, Sonia, every time you talk, it's like,
Twerk, twerk, twerk. Like, you can't even be normal. You just always have to be a clown. And then everyone's like,
wait a second. As very fun people who have youth on their side, did you just call someone a clown?
Don't bring Tinsley into this.
Oh, I'm miserable. I'm fucking
Tinsley.
miserable. She just lowers down in a ring.
Tinsley lowers down. Yeah. Oh.
This is my friend's restaurant.
So everybody's jaws are on the floor because she called her a clown. Like, that's the worst thing in the world. Meanwhile, this group has just called Sonia in the past 3 weeks a slut, a whore,
A drunkard, who knows
you
what.
name it.
Yeah,
yes,
everything.
you name it.
And Leah's
so they're
like,
a clown. Oh.
And Leah's like, I don't know if you know Sonia well enough to say that. Meanwhile, like, Leah's whole thing last season was like she's the new girl and she doesn't mind saying what has to be said because no one's saying the truth, right? So then Luann goes, how dare you talk to her like that? How dare you talk to any of us like that? Who the fuck do you think you are? Who? I'm like, Luann, there was literally footage of you saying being so nasty to Sonia in the limo when she was talking about Tom, even though Sonia was bringing up Tom for the millionth time. But it's just so funny that they act like they don't shit on Sonia all the time.
Well, I guess they're just saying, like, you're the new girl. Like, you're not allowed to be coming after us like this, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we haven't even accepted you, friend of. Okay, ma'am.
They should
you
be-
need to calm down.
They should be so happy because after the past few episodes, when people watching this show have started to be like, oh, this show sucks, that Bershawn has come in and lit a fire under this show right now. They should be so happy.
I know she's made it like a real Housewives of New York episode.
Yes.
by just going on with this fight. So she says, I'm just being honest, which is the best Real Housewives comeback
Exactly.
ever. It's a classic. And Ramona's like, you know what? She's my friend. Okay, that's who she is. She's my friend. And then goes, oh bullshit, Ramona.
Here's a song by Candor Nebb. It's called Bullshit.
And Leah goes, really, Ramona? Because Ramona's not standing up for Sonia, like, at all.
Which is true too. So then of course Luann can never resist a chance to make Ramona look bad. She's like, oh yeah, I mean, who's Ramona's loyalty to? What's Ramona? This is her best friend. So she goes, I don't know you, and to come in here and to think you could just talk to us like that, well, you're sadly mistaken, girlfriend. Guess who's young now? Guess who's not a grandma now? Because I said girlfriend at the end of a sentence. Ha!
And Bershawn's just like, well, you can get to know me. And she's like, well, all right. Well, hopefully you're not bored anymore. You're bored because you're bored with yourself. That's why you're bored. So she's like, ladies, I've got a tough skin, and whatever you say is not going to hurt me. And so the waitress is so excited. She comes over, and she's like, hi, ladies. Is it time to hear the specials?
I'm like, wait, they haven't even ordered their food yet, and all this has happened? So Ramona goes, I can't believe this is happening right now. Bershawn was never like this with me when we were one-on-one. She was always very embracing and funny. This isn't funny. I can't believe I brought someone on this trip when I was getting along with ladies so well who made them all so mad. I can't believe I did that.
So they start ordering, and Sonia's like, oh, is the steak good? Because I have to eat before I drink. I'm with very judgmental company tonight. I might act like a clown, which might be fun unless you're a Bershawn. You don't think it's fun?
So now Sonia's sort of embracing the clown thing. Like being a clown is good, and Bershawn just doesn't get it, right? So then Ramona is like, you know what? I feel like dancing on tables right now. Who wants to see me dance on a table? I'll be the real clown, okay? So she goes over to the corner and she gets onto a table and then she starts going, music, 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 music. Like, that's not really dancing, but.
And during that Ramona kind of dancing, the like Seinfeld, Julia Louise Seinfeld-esque jerking that she does.
I'm like, I know you're supposed to dance to music, but I don't think you're supposed to dance the actual word music. Music.
And no one is amused except the waitress who's loving it. She's like dancing in place.
So she's like, you know what? Bershawn is incredibly embarrassing. And
you're standing on a table in a restaurant dancing to no music. Who are you calling embarrassing?
So Bershawn's basically like, I just wanted escapism, okay? And so Sonia goes, so do you find this boring? Because actually, Bershawn, you're quiet right now. And he's like, so now Bershawn, I think, is trying to pivot. And so she starts saying, Well, actually, Leah, you said the smartest thing today. And then, like, literally just...
Why does she take the conversation to you, Leah? How do you not want to talk to me? So Sonia is drunk and screaming, okay, but no one says anything about that because it's Sonia. You've got Ramona dancing on a table, making a fucking idiot of herself. Nobody says anything of that, okay?
Right.
It's only Brashan who's being crazy, I guess, because she's new. So Brashan's like, well, I'm inclusive. I'm trying to include her in the conversation. So Leah's like, hey, listen, she said I said something smart, so let her talk. No, fuck you, Brashan! And then she gets her hand all in Brashan's face. And she's like,
Yes.
every time I talk to you, every time.
It's like channeling Dorinda, truly. And
Yeah, a
Brashan's
little.
like, you guys have been dissing Leah since I met her. And Sonia goes, she's doing that. Every time I talk, wow, who's been dissing me? Who's been dissing me? And Brashan says, well, let me just say it like this. Because I've probably had too much to drink. Oh, clown!
Who's the clown now? Okay. And Brashan's like, calm down. There's a clown show. And she's like, okay, well, now you're just starting trouble, so why don't you just spit it out? And Leah tells us, this girl's a bullshit artist. She's just lighting a match and throwing it into a straw building or something. Wooden building? I don't know.
I don't know. Says Leah, yeah, she says that or something. And then, but this is funny coming from Leah, who literally threw fire last season.
Yeah. Cut to Leah holding an octopus in the air.
Seriously. Stomping on a mirror tray. So Brashan's like, you know what? All I've heard through this weekend is just little jabs about you, just like so. It's just, and so Leah's like, spit it out. She goes, well, I don't like to throw people under the bus. And Leah,
which is just so ridiculous.
So Real
She's totally
Housewives.
throwing everyone under the bus. Yeah. Loving it.
So Leah's like, well, there's like so much bullshit going on. I'm out. Okay. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not going to sit at a table with someone you're just like starting shit. You're not being honest. You just put yourself in a fucked up position. You're not going to finish it. I'm like, Brashan, the whole point was that Brashan was honest and you guys all jumped down her throat for crying out loud.
Yeah. Brashan says, well, Ramona just said, basically, like you just don't connect a lot. And she looks right at Ramona. And Leah's like, okay, great. And I don't connect with her, so thank you for that. So now Sonia is up and screaming. And now you move the conversation. There you go. Moving the conversation. Clown. Just acting crazy.
And Ramona's denying that she said that about Leah, but we see a flashback of Ramona's like, you know what? Sometimes we butt heads. And Brashan goes, but do you consider her a friend? You know what? I'm not sure. I'm working on the relationship. So, yeah, it's like Brashan says basically what Ramona said.
Yeah. But I mean, it's in a situation where she's trying to get herself out of an argument to start them fighting. Like, it's too obvious and they're already too mad. So it's just she hasn't been a housewife long enough to finesse that in there, right? So this blows up in her face. So Leah's like, I'm leaving. You guys can hang out together. And so all the girls get up and start leaving. They're all just going to leave her there. So they're like, I'm out of here. And Sonia's like, well, fine. I'll stay for Ramona. But she goes, oh, calm down, Sonia.
She's like, oh, bitch.
These amateur theatrics.
Yeah. And Sonia's like, you know what? You're rude. You're not a listener and you're not intuitive.
So then she goes, I'm leaving. And Ramona goes, you hurt my girl, so I'm leaving too. So they're just all going to leave her there. So they all get up and leave. And Sonia goes, I don't know how you're a life coach.
Yeah. So, so then and Ramona's like, Brashan, I don't know why you had to go after Leah. Okay. I never went after Leah. She goes, well, everyone here just walks on eggshells. That's what everyone does. Well, you know what? You made Sonia upset. You messed up big time. Okay. I brought you into this group and you fucked it all up. Okay.
And Sonia's like, you're not even listening and hearing. Sonia, who has not shut up.
Yeah.
So Brashan's like, whatever. Like, by the way, Brashan is so unbothered. She just keeps walking with them. And she's drunk too, right? So she's just like, whatever, your friendship is phony. You know what? You better tell her tomorrow that I never said anything about her.
And meanwhile,
Then Sonia runs back in the restaurant and grabs a full glass of wine and comes out and just chugs it and starts falling over, chugging this
through
glass
her
of wine.
mask or something. I didn't understand what was happening. Because like all of a sudden there just was like a glass of wine in the middle of the scene. And then all of a sudden Sonia's just chugging it. And I was like, is it going down the front of her mask? Is it going in her mouth? Like, how's it getting in her mouth? But somehow she just chugs a glass of wine in the middle of all this. Like in the middle of quaint Salem, Massachusetts, they're out there and she has a glass of wine, you know?
And Vershawn goes, phony. You know what? I like parts of Leah. You know what? The parts that can't talk. Okay? Those are the parts I like. I like her ankles. You know what? There. Tell her I like her ankles. Phony.
Yeah.
Phony.
And Luann's saying, you know, I just hate the way that Bershawn spoke to Sonia, by the way. I mean, Ramona does not have Sonia's back. I'm telling you that. She does not have her back. And this is funny just because the season opened up with Luann and Ramona making such a big to-do about how they're such good friends now. And Luann is like, the moment she gets a chance, she just likes to show what a shitty friend that Ramona is, which is what I love about their relationship.
And Ebony says, well, I didn't like Ramona's reaction to all that. And she goes, oh, Ramona's not good. She's not a good friend to Sonia. I'm telling you. So then back to Bershawn and Ramona and Sonia.
They're now
all
back in the
wasted,
restaurant.
Stumbling.
They're now back in the restaurant because one of them left something back there. So they're back in the restaurant and Sonia has a new glass of wine now.
Yeah, so they start stumbling down the street, and Bershawn's like, you're phony. You guys don't tell the truth. And then Ramona's like, you know what? I have to go get my scarf.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
So they go back, and Sonia's like, that girl keeps calling me phony. I don't like her. So Bershawn just goes, I gotta go, because they're obviously trying to get away from her or whatever. So she's like, whatever. So she just stumbles down the street by herself. And back in the hotel basement bar... Dun, dun, dun.
The non-grandmas are having a great time. It's like Leah stretching. They're just like sitting there.
Leah literally stretching on the floor.
So Bershawn joins them and she goes, well, girls, I had too much to drink. Sorry. And she's like, no, you can't do that. You're walking fine. Okay. Like, don't use the drinking as an excuse. Okay. I've been there. You can't use it as an excuse. So Bershawn goes,
yeah, she does that whole thing where she's like, sweetie, I know what drunk is. You can't use that as an excuse and pretend you didn't blow up the whole night. Like, I don't even know where I was when I drink. Yeah, because you're a fucking alcoholic. That's different. You can't say you can't say you've had too much to drink because I used to be a blackout drunk.
Yeah.
Like, how is that fair?
So Bershawn says, look, Leah, I really fuck with you. I like you. I'm not a girl who's talking behind your back. And Ebony's like, well, who's talking behind her back? And so Bershawn basically says it's Ramona. And she says, Ramona set me up. Ha, 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 ha. So then Ramona and Sonia, meanwhile, have now arrived back at the hotel because they've gone to the restaurant, picked up the scarf, gotten a glass of wine, and Sonia, they're just drunk in the elevator, and Sonia's like on the floor, like a leg up, and that manager from last week who's like, Ramona, I got everything you need. I'm going to help you out. She just like runs into the elevator. She's like, let me just take care of this so you can get out of public view.
Yeah, so they're like falling. It's like an absolutely fabulous scene. They're just like falling down the elevator. And the ladies are saying, yeah, Ramona set you up to gaslight us. And they're like explaining to her, that's what Ramona does,
Yeah.
She tells you stuff, so you'll bring it to us, so then we yell at you.
Yeah. So then
they come to join the girls. And Bershawn turns to Ebony and she's like, Ebony, we're sisters. And she goes, I don't feel bad for you, baby. I'm sorry.
And Bershawn's like, well, you can be mad, but I did start shit. And Ebony's like, well, do you want to apologize to Luann? And Bershawn's like, yes. Okay. Luann, I'm a bit of a blabbermouth and I don't go by codes or boundaries and that's how it should be. And I like shoes and walls are great. They hold up houses. You know what I'm saying? So I think we've resolved this, right, Luann?
And Ebony's like, an apology requires a moment of regret. So, and Bershawn's like, yeah, codes, I don't like those. And Luann says, well, I don't think codes are the right word. I mean, you have to have some kind of decency. Decency, that's it, decency. She goes, decency, that's the right word. You called me a clown. Is that decent? Like, you just fell down in an elevator.
I know. You just did. And I think Bershawn said something like, well, I called you a hoe. If I called you a hoe, is that decent? And she goes, hoe I'll take. Clown I will not.
So Bershawn is cracking up, So Ebony's like, oh, wow, she missed it. She's on her own now. So then Leah and Ramona are having their own little private talk. And Leah is so fucking full of it. She goes, Ramona, it just hurts because, like, in the Hamptons, we made progress. Like you were saying, and then when I thought you were saying something negative about me, it, like, hurt so bad because, like, we connected. Like, remember that part with my You just said she was a dumb bitch. She, like, literally the last episode, you were screaming at her at dinner saying, you dumb bitch, you're everything wrong in the world.
Yeah. Leah all of a sudden acting like, like she's just always been so loving and sweet to Ramona when she has spent all this season just like having random outbursts at Ramona. And now she's going to say, I just thought we made so much progress, And Ramona goes, you know what? I got really mad at Bershawn. I was so mad. I said, Bershawn. That's all I said.
I did this old trick. I said, Bershawn.
So then Sonia's going around going, I'm a comedian. And Bershawn says, twerking every night, you're a hoe. I'm not a hoe. I don't like being called a clown, okay? And Bershawn goes, yeah, but you do that. Like you do act like a clown, And then like Ramona and Leah are like hugging in a corner. It's just such a disaster in this strange like rec room basement.
And Sonia says, you can't call me a clown. You did this to me. It's like throwing her arms around. And Bershawn's like, yeah, but you did do that.
Exactly. Just, are you a bitch? If you're a humanitarian, you don't call people out on their flaws. You want me to feel you? Feel me.
She goes, I just said, Sonia, calm down, okay? So, Sonia, calm down one more time. She's like, I'll give you one more time. And then she like, marches out and then marches right up to her. And she goes, one more time. And she starts like humping the air.
Yeah, because you think she's going to come in almost like a Karen. But then she sort of like does like a funny dance too. She's like, one more time. Like she's literally clowning around while she's saying that she's not a clown, right? So then Ramona's like, you know what? I don't know what Bershawn is doing now. Like, I just put out a fire and she's torching the room, okay? So Bershawn calls her a clown again. And Luann's like, well, if Cloud wasn't bad enough the first time, she's going for a second round. I've had enough of Sean. I was like, okay, Luann, let's like not turn her name into vomit, okay?
Luann needs a better gay this season, for sure, in the confessional. So Sonia, who no one's, again, saying anything about Sonia, who's stomping around the hotel, screaming and yelling, wasted off her ass, going, well, I'm not walking, because Bershawn says, okay, walk away then, Sonia. So she stomps back up, and she's like, I'm not walking away, because I know you're going to talk about yourself, and then starts getting her hands in her face.
Sonia, who monologued to Bershawn at Pioneer Town earlier today.
So Bershawn, who's like sick of sitting there taking it, stands up and is like, and you're going to do this.
Where's your brains, bitch? Where's your speaking, bitch?
Oh, my God. So they stand up and they're like doing like body actions and shaking their arms and their hands at each other, making crazy noises. And so Bershawn's like, you know what? Go ahead and dance and be a clown then. Go ahead. And Luann's like, what is that? And Sonia goes, I'm just talking to help her. I can just shut up and let her hang herself.
And Ebony's like,
maybe you should then. And she goes, you hung yourself already, bitch.
And yeah, she's like, yeah. And then is that what she said? You hanged yourself already with your mouth? Use your brain, bitch. She says something like that. And Bershawn stands up and is like, all right. And then that's where it ends. Like, what is Bershawn going to do? It's such a ridiculous, silly fight. But it was like also so nice to have a ridiculous, silly fight on the show again, I mean, they've had them all season, but like this was like a what was great was that it was it was a Dorinda style fight of like, I'm going to proclaim something and I'm just going to stick to it and you're just going to scream at me and I'll scream back at you and we're just going to do this until we both pass out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, then it looks like next week Sonia gets physical, which, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then now they're going to have the talk with Sonia about her alcoholism. But like here, it just kind of makes me crazy because, again, here we go with some fucking crazy Sonia going at it, but then it's everyone else's fault for like triggering Sonia. No.
Yeah. And next week looks like it will certainly be notable. But until then, you guys, once again, just remember to watch us on Watch What Happens Live tonight, and also our friends Danny and Sasha, who are also going to be on the show. And then tomorrow, we're back with some Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which should be a delight.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Itchels. Dana C. Dana Do.
Let's run some errands with Emily Errands.
Aaron McNicholas. She don't miss no trickolas.
Hava Nagila Weber.
Jamie. She has no last namey.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
Just saying, okay. She's always supplying. It's Kelly Ryan.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Megan Berg, you can't have a burger without the Berg.
You don't touch the Nicky Morgan letters. There ain't no problem that Sarah Salvia can't solve ya. The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Better than Tabbouleh, it's Annie and Julie. Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
Always the wiser, it's Allison Weisler.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
She's cheese on a bagel, it's Megan Regal.
Erica, 500 Days of Summers.
We will, Joanna Rockland, you.
The incredible edible Matthews sisters. Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender.
My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo.
No one makes us feel well like Megan Cap Sewell. Mina Coochie Coochie Coochie.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
Sarah Greenwood, she only uses her power for good. Can't have a meal without the Emily sides.
Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony.
Let's get racy with Miss Stacy.
Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.